That view isn't that good. But still, this Asiana Airlines flight that was just traveling for an hour to its destination, I believe in South Korea, had a bit of a snag when someone ran over and snatched the emergency exit door open. Couple details here, TMZ talked about it. This Asiana Airlines Airbus was cruising high during its 1 hour flight when a passenger somehow was able to open that emergency exit just behind the wing. These other passengers tried to thwart the effort, but then they failed, probably because they didn't want to deal with it once he opened it. Now this plane, it normally goes around 500 miles per hour, became a wind tunnel inside that cabin, as you can see. And that video shows how devastating it was. This other video from behind also shows it, watch. We can take more B-roll of this, you guys, as we talk about how those flight attendants were really trying to make sure that they stopped him. But again, it wasn't too far of a flight. They were probably preparing at some point to begin to land, and the flight attendants weren't really in a position to stop him either. Apparently also, he tried to jump out as well. So maybe that was the motivation, but we don't know what motivated him to want to do it to himself and obviously to everyone else. Here's some of the descriptions that the passengers then gave as we saw the plane then hit the ground here, and that door was still open. Luckily, no one passed away. No one was actually sucked out of the airplane, but there was a few injuries. Here's some of the descriptions that they gave. It was chaos, with people close to the door appearing to faint one by one, and the flight attendants calling out for doctors on board through the broadcasting system. I thought the plane was blowing up. I thought I was going to die like this. That's what one particular 44-year-old passenger talked about. There was also some school-age children that had been on board, and they were going to some weekend sporting event. And the mother of one of those kids told the publishers here that the children were shaking, crying, and frightened as well. Adrian, there was 194 people on that flight. Some people had some eye issues, probably from the extreme wind. Those folks sitting right at the exit must have been very happy that at least their seatbelts were on, because again, that's another thought I was concerned with. I'm always watching and thinking, because you guys know, I'm a little bit paranoid.
Oh, I don't think you're paranoid at all. I think this is kind of a, well, no, it's probably isn't a normal fear. Because I kind of have this thought about anytime I'm riding on a plane, what if something, exactly. And the thought that this actually happened. And the thing is if you're looking at a 1 hour flight, it's like going from LA to Vegas or Sacramento to Vegas or something like that. It's not that long of a flight. And as a result, the flight attendants assume this is gonna be an easy road. We don't even have to serve beverages, sit down, and we're about to get back up. So I could see how people would be low key, but why this person would want to, get some fresh air is beyond me. It's like, are your ADHD meds not working well? Because that's the only reason I would want to open the door. But I can tell you, it's funny, after seeing the story, I was like, I didn't know those doors opened without the flight, without like essentially the engine not running. As in, it's because it's like opening a car door. It's just so weird to me.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of secondary mechanism or safeguard. Yeah, sure, you can snatch the pulley or whatever and assume it'll fly open. But isn't there an extra?
Seriously,
maybe the pilot has a
that
release?
was some Mission Impossible kind of stuff. Because I actually assumed the door wouldn't open unless we were grounded, unless we weren't moving, that there'd be some mechanism, but apparently not. So now I know, don't pull it.
I guarantee you're not the only person to think it. So probably Asiana has on their hands some explaining about why that doesn't happen, or maybe just the makers of these particular airplanes and not just an Asiana problem, because obviously, a style of aircraft isn't just for one airline. So maybe not just them. We'll look for that answer too. By the way, the guy was arrested once they got on the ground, and they took him in, and they still haven't identified him, nor have they said why he did it. Not sure if he's told them or not yet.